for 200 metres at the 2004 Paralympics.
It's crazy. I mean, I didn't expect it, and I didn't. I think it was all a bit soon, a bit sudden. As I said, when I got back, I took like 3 months off, and that for me was just, it's just kind of been like, wow, this all has happened so quickly. I mean, it was a bit overwhelming.
Oscar was born without a fibula in both legs and was only 11 months old when his parents made the decision to have his limbs amputated below the knee. But his desire to play sport never for a second diminished. Rugby was his first love.
For me, I've grown up doing able-bodied sport my whole life. I went to an able-bodied school, did cricket, soccer, wrestling, I did boxing, I did everything with the able-bodied kids, so I've never distinguished the difference. I started athletics in 2004. I had a rugby injury in 2003, and part of my sport rehabilitation was to get involved in a sprinting program for my 2004 rugby season. And then I just kind of got stuck into it, I enjoyed it.
South African Athletics Federation considered Oscar the same as any able-bodied athlete. Here's his coach, Pete Van Zyl.
What a lot of people don't actually know is that Oscar was actually running far more able-bodied races in South Africa, because he actually started running first in able-bodied athletics in South Africa, in all our normal domestic club competitions and national competitions where he was running against able-bodied athletes.
In 2007, Oscar won the 400 metre silver at the South African Championships, but his cheetah flex foot prosthetic was being monitored by the IAAF. They wondered if it was giving Oscar an unfair advantage over the other athletes. The results of the tests conducted in November 2007 were clear. Pistorius did have an advantage. On the 14th of January 2008, the IAAF decided to ban him from able-bodied international competitions.
Obviously, I think there were personal interests involved there. There were some guys that obviously didn't want me to run. I mean, they had banned me before without even doing the test last season.
A shock for South Africa's new hero.
It wasn't a very fair decision, and it was definitely, discrimination on a new level. So we decided to do the test. We got one of the best biomechanical labs in the world at Michigan Institute of Technology and at Rice University.
And the results, to say the least, were completely different. 12 of the world's best scientists hired proved that Pistorius wasn't having an advantage from running with his prosthetic. The result of the appeal that Pistorius and his lawyers launched after the IAAF ban was given on the 16th of May 2008. The words that Oscar wanted to hear.
Oscar is admitted to compete in the IAAF competition from this moment with his cheetah flex foot prosthetic device.
A victory for Pistorius and disabled sport in general, but time was running out. There were just 9 weeks left before the Olympic qualifying deadline. But Oscar's first official race in Milan on the 2nd of July was a disaster. Clocking 47.78, he was well outside the 45.55 minimum set by the South African Athletics Federation. A week later in Rome, Oscar improved his time, getting it down to 46.56. But he was still 1 second away from the required standard. There was just one competition left for Oscar to try and make his qualifying time at Luzern in Switzerland. Oscar reflected on his 2 missed opportunities in Italy, but still felt he was improving with every race.
It was nice. It was very nice. The first race was a bit terrible in Milan. I think it was just the first time in a year that I've run, so it was kind of just a bit overwhelming in the beginning, and then the race in Rome went a lot better, so I was really happy with that.
After 2 days from competition, Oscar and his coach Pete are still feeling relaxed.
Well, it's the last opportunity for Oscar to try and achieve the qualification time, so yeah, it's probably one of the most important races in his career up to date.
Those bad results in Italy have forced Oscar to change his plans.
South Africa is qualified for the 4x4 relay, in which only one of the athletes has run B qualification standard, so if I can run sub 46 seconds, I should be quite eligible to make the relay team. And I think that's a far more realistic option at this moment.
After a 45-minute drive, Oscar arrives in Luzern. No time to waste. Straight into the hotel room to rest from the journey from Italy.
Well, a hassle, but I guess a nice view is always a luxury. So
The sun rises on Luzern and its famous lake. Oscar has had a 10-hour sleep and seems well rested. The relaxation continues after breakfast as Oscar starts his day with a walk through the town. In the afternoon, Oscar goes through some important stretching routines back in his hotel room.
usually the day before a race, and I just sometimes sit in my room and just chill. And you know, the one thing that's nice is if you do the day before, it's usually not as stressed on the day, but just go through your race. You know, if you spend 15-20 minutes stretching, just whilst you do it, you know, just kind of get your head ready for the next day. And the one thing that I like doing is I usually draw a circuit of the actual track, and you know, although you know your race strategy, you know, it's just something that's nice going through over and over again. So you know, usually when I'm stretching, I just carry on looking at that and just imagine, you know, starting my race, breathing properly, and then going through the different sectors in my race, which always helps the next day when you run.
Oscar knows he's playing his last card tomorrow night.
You know, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen tomorrow night. So if it's not, it's not. But either way, you know, I wouldn't mind. I just want to run my best tomorrow night, you know, and after the race, I want to feel like I've done my best. You know, even after Rome, I felt that my back straight could have been a bit quicker and I could have kicked maybe 5 meters more, and whether that would be enough to have got me down to the time I needed to run, I'm not sure, but I'm sure it would have been better than the time I did run there.